Hello, everyone. Welcome back to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Rohde. As you all have heard, there was some unfortunate news in the wide receiver room from the Chicago Bears this past weekend involving Byron Pringle and Nikhil Harry. Unfortunately, both look like they're going to be out for a little bit of time, especially Harry. I'm going to get into it in a second. It's unfortunate. A guy trying to get his career back on path just wasn't getting lucky. Pringle seems like it's not as severe, still is going to be out for a decent amount of time, unfortunately, for the preseason. But we have some good news because the Bears are already potentially looking into replacements that could hold over their positions while they're out. So this is a little crazy, but it's part of the sports. Before we begin, we'd like to thank today's sponsor, DraftKings Sportsbook. Get in on the hottest sports action with your shot at cold hard cash with DraftKings Sportsbook. Bet on your favorite sports all summer long and gear up for football season. Right now, new customers can get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook now. Use promo code JChicago, that's Jay Chicago. Make your first deposit and get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. That's promo code JChicago, only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Don't miss out on all the action this week at DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today. Sign up using the link in the description or through my promo code JChicago, JayChicago. We are going to be hitting on the injured for the Chicago Bears and what is leading to this search of a potential wide receiver replacement. To start, Byron Pringle is out with a quad injury, according to the Chicago Bears. His time of return is unknown. He suffered it over the weekend, the same day that Nikhil Harry did. It's just unfortunate. Byron Pringle was really starting to look like a wide receiver 2 behind Darnell Mooney. He had a good year last year with the Kansas City Chiefs as a wide receiver 3 and 4, still racking up over 500 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 13 yards of average yards per gain after the catch, or in all, even after the catch. Just very, very impressive stats for a guy who played wide receiver 3. Darnell Mooney was our wide receiver 1 last year for the Chicago Bears, and this guy was keeping up with his stats. So hoping to have him back before the beginning of the season. He does look good. He's starting to understand this offense and build some chemistry with Justin Fields. So we're hoping Pringle gets back as soon as possible. This one hurts the most. Not saying that Pringle's isn't bad, but this one just hurts from just a human being emotional standpoint. Nikhil Harry, it's a sad story for him. Former first round pick out of New England. Didn't really gel that well in New England. He had some big plays. There's no doubt about that. But unfortunately, the first rounder just did not gel well with Bill Belichick's offense. He was traded to Chicago, though. That worked out in our favor for a 7th round pick a few weeks ago. He was starting to really have a nice camp, looking like a big red zone target, standing at 6'4". He's no joke. A lot of people compare him to DK Metcalf. And excuse me. Oh, sorry. Just had lunch. It was a little banana and peanut butter sandwich. It was delicious. But back to what we're talking about is that he suffered a severe high ankle sprain this past weekend during training camp. A couple fans saw it, said it was gruesome. A couple reporters also saw it, said it was gruesome. So there's no timeable return for him. Luckily, it's a sprain, but it's categorized as a severe high ankle sprain. And those linger all season long, folks. And we wish him the best. We hope he gets better as soon as possible. Again, just a story of a guy who wants to make it in the NFL. And, he was starting to really feel good in Chicago. He was starting to really look good in Chicago. Fortunately, this injury came about. Hoping he has a speedy recovery. But it is what it is right now. It is part of the game. And we're wishing the best for both of them to get better as soon as possible. Now, the potential replacements, some of them were in the thumbnail, and there was about 2 or 3. There's 3 more after that I'm going to quickly hit on. But the 3 that are in the thumbnail, going to start off with the biggest name out of the 3 in the middle guy, Will Fuller, the biggest name by far, 6'1", 184, nearly the same exact size as Byron Pringle. He had a 6-game suspension last year due to performance-enhancing drugs. And on top of that, he missed another 9 games with an injury. So he only played in 2 games last year for the Miami Dolphins. But he was a beast when he played for the Texans. He was an absolute, rock back in 2020. He nearly had 1,000 yards with 8 touchdowns. He had a 77-yard touchdown run, and then he had 16.6 yards average, yards per catch. That's crazy. This dude was almost getting 2 first downs every time he touched the ball. He's flashy, showed a lot of potential. He's still young. He's a bigger body, but he's athletic as hell. And with his past history, it scares me a little bit bringing him in. Clearly Ryan Poles likes to give guys the chance, to have that good Cinderella story. but the Bears could get him for a super cheap deal. He is an unrestricted free agent at the moment, and he can make a quick impact while the other two are out. I'd be excited to have Will Fuller come. I know we talked about it. Tony and I talked about it in a couple of our older episodes way back when free agency first began, but he's still out there. The Bears are doing their homework, and he's on their list according to various sources. Wide receiver number 2 that the Bears are looking after is Jalen Reagor, former first-round pick by the Eagles, 21st pick in 2020, 5'11", but he's 197 pounds, so he weighs more than Fuller. He's 2 inches shorter. And if you look at this guy, he's built like a truck. He's athletic. He's really fast, and he knows how to bulldoze over, smaller defenders, even bigger defenders. He's had an okay start to his career in 2 years. He has nearly 700 yards and a 10.9 average catch. If the Bears get him, I don't see it going. I could see it being another 7th rounder, maybe in 2024. Obviously, we don't have a 2023 anymore because we used it on Nikhil Harry. But the Eagles will have to also chew up a lot of his rookie contract. He's a former first rounder, so he did get a pretty nice contract so far. But again, Poles likes it as an opportunity. Low risk, high reward. He's had a really strong camp so far for the Eagles, but the Bears could be like, okay, it's camp. Everyone does well at camp. If you're not doing well at camp, you're cut. So Bears are going to probably do their homework on him. They're going to make sure that both our injured guys are out for a significant amount of time. That's worth it to go out and get someone and use a pick for. But I wouldn't mind it. I mean, at least at this rate, we have to keep St. Brown on the roster due to, this guy being another 5'11" and St. Brown being 6'5". But I'm excited if we do get him because it's a new chapter for him, new opportunity. He still potentially can have a really good bounce back career, and he's young and he's fast. So overall, I like that the Bears are considering him as well. Another one, and this is my favorite. I will say this now. This is my ideal replacement is Denzel Mims. I will say it now, and I'll say it again and again and again. He is worth the money. He's worth the pick because he's 6'3", 207, tall, good red zone target like Harry was going to be. He's a former 2nd-round pick, so he's already got a chip on his shoulder and he played for the Jets. Kind of like the Bears situation like a lot of people thought Cole Kmet, I'm just going to use him as an example, thought it wouldn't work out in Chicago. He was, a 2nd-round pick, had a high expectation. But in New York, it's the Jets. Like their offense has stunk just as bad as the Bears. And this guy, Denzel, can come to this team and have a really big impact. He also has a career of 15.8 yards per game. Love that for a team that needs first downs. And he doesn't have any career touchdowns, but that he's going to want to do that. And again, he played for the Jets. He played for the New York Jets offense. Go look up their stats over the last couple of years. No wide receiver was doing well in there. I'd give up a 6 for him. Maybe this year 6. I know we're not going to have our 6th or 7th this year, but he seems worth it. He's a tall guy, 2nd rounder, chip on his shoulder already from being a 2nd-round pick, double chip on his shoulder. So both shoulders got a chip on it now, not in an injury way though, because he played for the Jets and they, didn't give him the best career opportunity to start off. Hoping for the best. I like Denzel Mims as my pick out of the 6. And quickly, just going to go into 3 more for you guys. Another one on the radar is Dede Westbrook. Could be another solid pickup. He started his career well, but he's had a lot of injuries since for the Jacksonville Jaguars. His best year was 2018 with 700 plus yards, 5 touchdowns, and almost 11 yards per catch. Another low risk, high reward guy, but again, he's a little bit older. Wouldn't really be worth that much to me, in my opinion, but he could be a good replacement, potentially put him on this practice squad once those guys come back. This guy kind of shocked me, though. Wide receiver Cole Beasley is apparently on the Bears radar as well. Veteran that I could get behind, though. Smaller at 5'8", 174, but has a ton of experience and could be a very strong veteran for a young group of guys. He's a total of over 5,700 receiving yards, 34 touchdowns. Beasley could make an immediate impact for the Chicago Bears. He once almost in 2020, he almost had a 1,000-yard season. He was 33 yards short, but a strong, athletic, and quick wide receiver that Justin Fields could definitely work with well. Could be a good replacement for Pringle, but again, I don't know, what Beasley's looking for. He's on the later part of his career, might want to go to a contender. Well, I'm not saying the Bears aren't a contender. I think the Bears are going to be a Super Bowl every year, but definitely they're not on the contending radar right now, but they will be. Don't worry, folks. Bears are going to shock the world this year. And then finally, the last one is Preston Williams, the biggest target out of this group at 6'5", 220. The Dolphins are rumored to be shopping him at the moment. Not too many big years, though. I wouldn't give anything more than a 6-rounder for him. And he could very well make an impact in Chicago for his size alone. Another big red zone target. In 3 seasons, he only has a little less than 800 career yards, but 7 touchdowns, and a lot of them are red zone touchdowns. So stay tuned. Wanted to hit on those 3 to end, but the first 3 guys, especially Denzel Mims, in my opinion, I think it'd be great guys for Ryan Poles to go after and get. Will Fuller is going to be the cheapest to get because it's just going to have to sign him to a contract. But a lot of other things to consider, especially the future of this roster. So with that, thank you very much for joining this Monday's episode of Just Another Year Chicago. Bears Family Fest tomorrow at Soldier Field. We'll have updates for you guys after. Very excited to bring those to you. But with that, thank you very much for joining this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Brody, and we'll see you guys next time.